Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for coming today to our BBT conference.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yes. So I just want to ask you a few questions, and the first one will be, how did you find the conference?
So, the conference was very insightful for me towards the background organization that happens in the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. And as a book distributor, this is really new because, being new to the movement, we didn't know how the whole organization works. So it gave me insight into the organization and the aims and strategies that the book distribution wing of ISKCON has. So that was very insightful for me.
Okay,
in that
fantastic.
regard.
You mentioned that you're a book distributor.
An attempting one.
All right. One of the presentations that we had was we had Narottam Prabhu, and he was sharing ideas. What did you think of those ideas in terms of just distributing Srila Prabhupada's books? And would you maybe try to implement one of them?
I feel that any idea thought about in regard towards distributing Srila Prabhupada's books is an idea worth hearing. So I think he mentioned about 4 or 5. Those are very well thought out ideas and very practically applicable ideas in our current situation, in terms of funding, in terms of organization, in terms of manpower to actually accomplish these goals. I think they're all pretty doable, especially the last one which you mentioned about a mobile bookstore. This kind of mobile bookstore, in my history, I haven't really seen one around the world in terms of, I've seen mobile libraries, but not a bookstore. So this kind of initiative would be helpful because now you get seasonal areas. You get sales in seasons, right? So you can now target different areas in different times, and that way I think an approach like that would be very helpful in terms of books distribution. And you can always just move whenever the atmosphere is not conducive. You just try and relocate. So it's book distribution with a bag on a bigger level, with now a van. And I think that spoke to me the most, I guess. But the mall idea and the bookstore are also very long-term ideas that can definitely be implemented in the longer run.
So today we obviously, from BBT side of view, we shared our strategies and our plans going forward, and our statistics from also in regards to BTG magazines as well. From that perspective, I mean, what do you think from a conference like this, as what we've hosted as BBT organization? Do you think that what we can improve on, or what other great ideas can you maybe, as a person who came here today and attended this conference, what's your views around that?
I feel, I don't know how long the BBT Africa organization itself as a separate entity has been around, but if this is the 8th annual conference, I would say there is some very nice progress in terms of the prior figures and the figures that are coming out now. Of course, there's still a lot of room for improvement. That's not to be overshadowed. But in terms of ideas and in terms of strategies moving forward, that's a very collaborative thing. It's well and good for one person to just sit outside of a crowd and say, I recommend this and I recommend that, you should do this, you should do that. But ideas have more weight in people. Ideas have more weight amongst the community. So I think more consensus should be, a more consensus approach should be viewed or should be targeted to ideas moving forward. Of course, it will start from individuals thinking, okay, listen, let me introduce this to the group, and let me introduce this to the organization and see what they say. But from there, it definitely needs many hands to make it work. And from that point of view, I think some of, like you mentioned earlier, that some of Narottam's ideas are applicable on their own, but they'll need hands to put together to make them work, to make them move forward. Because I think with the response of the crowd today, most of these ideas were well within reach, within the next 5 years, within I think BBT and ISKCON's means, so to speak. And it basically takes people sitting down together and confirming that these are our actual aims, and then what is the strategy to meet these aims. And from that point of view, I think anything is possible with Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Anything is possible. Yeah.
And just a final questions. In terms of the books distributions, how many books have you read and which ones?
Putting him on the spot here, eh? I can't name all the titles that I've read, but I can at least say I've read about, cover to cover, about maybe 15 of Srila Prabhupada's books, working on a couple of the bigger books now, reading the Bhagavad Gita maybe 3 or 4 times now. It's coming along, it's a slow process, it's a balancing act actually with school and life and just general life at the moment. It's a balancing act, but like Vibhu Chaitanya said earlier, that if you're just putting in 30 minutes a day into reading Srila Prabhupada's books, that is most beneficial. So if you have a structured timeline of how you can associate with Srila Prabhupada, how you can come in contact with his instructions, that will be most beneficial towards us as book distributors and the congregation as a whole. And towards the whole idea of books distribution based on Srila Prabhupada's readings, is that like most of the speakers mentioned today, you really do get enthusiasm from reading the books. You really, it comes from a point that I really want to just share what I'm learning with others. It's not even I just want to sell this book because my temple president told me to go out and sell a book, but I mean, this is real wealth. This is real knowledge here that we get from these books, and to not share that with anyone else is selfish. That's just, it's not human. So if I have more than I can chew, I want to go give it out. So these books are way more than any one mind can fathom. So we have to distribute them. That's literally the only thing. Srila Prabhupada, actually, there's a quote that Srila Prabhupada said that the more these books stay in the boxes and in the warehouses, one day they'll just jump out of their box. I'm not quoting verbatim, but he said they will one day jump out of their boxes and go and distribute themselves. So let's just help it along and just pick them out of the boxes and put them in people's hands. We don't want to see books jumping out of boxes just yet.
No.
Yeah.
No, fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for coming today to our BBT conference. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. One of the questions is that how did you find the conference today?
So I attended the conference when it first started, I think back in 2010, and I've seen a remarkable progress in terms of what it had initially started off as and what it has become. So for me, I feel great enthusiasm to see the way the whole thing's been organized, from the registration, the online registration, making it more available to people on their phones, to the SMSs you received when your registration was complete, the SMSs we just received now to tell us thank you for attending the conference, and just the wide array of topics that were discussed today. Really struck a nerve with me, so that's my appreciation for it, that despite having attended many of these conferences or similar type of workshops like this before, today was a day where I felt that, okay, I need to make a difference and I need to do something. And like I said in my question earlier, just harness that enthusiasm that I'm feeling at this point.
And speaking about enhancing the enthusiasm that you have in terms of book distributions, I mean, one of our presentations was with Narottam Prabhu, where he had a variety of ideas.
Yes.
And I mean, what did you think of that? And would you implement one of those ideas?
You know what I really liked was that Bhaktivedanta books. So previously I used to read a lot of books, and you'd always go into the mall to get these books. But now obviously that focus has changed and reading more spiritual books, because I always believe that if you have time to read those mundane books, then you should have time to read your spiritual books. And I don't generally go into exclusive books now because I don't have that inclination to read those kind of books. But man, if we have to have that kind of bookshop in a mall, I think that will be so tremendous, the reach, the footprint that you would get. And that is something that I would really want to harness. And even the book stalls that they seem to have, that they had at the Gautrain station, that would be nice. And even the traveling, I think the bus, the Sankirtan bus that they've got now, yes. And then that where they've got, I think it was a makeshift kind of shop where they would have everything to do with spirituality on the bus. I think it was a Nivea bus that they had used an example of. So that would be something tremendous, something that I would really want to be involved with, really, because I like new things and I like organizing things. So that is just really up my street in terms of doing something different to preach.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll definitely keep you in mind.
I'd be happy to be involved.
Thank you so much for your
My
time.
pleasure.
And go out there, have that enthusiasm to do the book distribution.
Thank you very much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
How did I find the entire conference of today? It was very nice. Got to see old friends that I haven't seen in a long time. But it was also nicely organized. It was very nicely organized. I think everybody felt their needs taken care of, you know, nice seating, proper seating, water, basic stuff like that. So it was very nice. And also in terms of the content of the presentations was amazing. It was very amazing. Yeah.
Speaking about presentations, I saw that the crowd was drawn to your presentation.
Oh, were they?
Yes, and also with Narottam Prabhu's presentation in terms of ideas around book distributions.
Right.
What are your views around that?
What specifically?
On Narottam Prabhu's ideas in terms of book distributions.
It's great. I mean, you know, the more creative ideas we have, the better. I think we need to expand, obviously, from where we are right now, and ideas like his are much welcome. Of course, they'll take a lot of capital, you know, to buy and rent, but those are good ideas, very good ideas.
So, as BBT, we've presented our strategies, we've also shown the stats around BTG magazines, and I know that you are based in East London.
Yes.
Yes, and what is your progress around the book distribution around your area where you currently are at the moment?
Well, book distribution is steady. We have street book distribution, hand to hand, so we have devotees going out. And we also have book tables at different malls. So, you know, the mall one is pushed mostly by our householder devotees, married couples and stuff. But books are going out very nicely. I think we need more Xhosa, you know, Xhosa titles,
Okay.
because we only have 2 titles at the moment. So the more titles we have, the better, and the more chances we have of distributing more books, Prabhupada's books.